Are y'all ready? It's time. Woo! Good evening, and welcome to Moments with Mama Sue. Can y'all believe it's already the end of March? What happened? What happened? The first quarter of this year is already gone, but thanks be to the good Lord, we're still here. I'm so excited to see you today. I'm glad that you tuned in for Moments with Mama Sue. It always makes my day. And it's always so special just to connect with you. I'm excited because you're here. And I want you, before we get in too deep, to go ahead right now and like and share. Let somebody know we're on the air so they can tune in with us for some scintillating conversation. You know, the whole concept behind Moments with Mama Sue is so that I can introduce some wonderful people that I know to some other wonderful people that I know and give you an opportunity to find out about some incredible, talented, creative individuals that we might not have had the opportunity to get to know otherwise. So that's what it's all about. And we want the conversation to be lively like it always is in the chat. We want you to have a good time because it's a whole community over here. It's a whole vibe of very positive, upbeat individuals. And I'm just really excited to see you and get to interact with you. Before we go too much further, let me go ahead and give a shout out to the WJIL.today listeners who are listening on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on WJIL.today Gospel Radio, Roku, and Fire Stick TV. Thank you, Pastor Patty Harris, for making that platform available to us. Listen, I get so excited about the thought that anybody is getting an opportunity to tune in, whether it's in real time or later on. And I'm excited about that. I love having your comments. So if you're watching, let me know what you're thinking about the show. You can slide into my DMs and tell me what you're thinking about the show. Even if there are other guests or persons that you know of that you think should be a feature on here, I will reach out to them and we will try to make that connection because that's important to me. Got to tell you that this month is busy. It has been off to a quick firebrand type of start. And you know already that I'm claiming the whole year to be my year of promise, because in February I turned the big 70. That's the year of promise in scripture, 70. So I am declaring that everything that's connected to me is going to win this year. We have a few more events on the calendar that we're going to be looking at as we close out the month of March. In just a couple of days, I will be with Texas Mass Choir in their spring session that's going to take place in Arlington. And for any of you that are in proximity, I would love to get to have a face-to-face encounter with you. So please, if you're in the area and you're part of Mama Sue's family, let me know so we can reach out and plan to roll up on the IHOP or something so I can get a chance to see you. I'd love to get a chance to give you a hug and just tell you how appreciative I am that you're part of Mama Sue's family. We're going to be in Arlington. So go to my Facebook page if you haven't already, or to Texas Mass Choir, either one, and you can look up the information that gives you the itinerary and locations and all of that for the events that are going to be taking place through the whole weekend. And then Saturday evening, I'm going to be with a dear friend who is also reaching her year of promise. I'll be emceeing her 70th birthday gala on Saturday evening. And then on Sunday, I will be at Macedonia Baptist Church where we will have Palm Sunday. So it's a busy time, y'all. And I know that y'all are busy too. You got lots of things going on. So I especially appreciate you taking the time to tune in with me. If any of you that are watching for the very first time, be sure and let me know that in the chat, because I always like to communicate and let you know how excited I am that you made a hole in your schedule to spend some time with me. Be sure you do that so that we can connect. And then the other thing I want you to remember is that you can hucklebuckle right over to my website so that you can connect as a subscriber. You'll be able to get my newsletter and any information that I'm sending out via email monthly, because I have a blog over there. There's a subscriber-based option over there that is paid, but there's also a free option. And I just love to be able to connect with you. So make sure that you're connected. That's www.sueroseberry.com. It's nothing like being connected. And let me tell you, the wisdom behind that is that if you're building community and you're liking the interaction that you're having with somebody, I'm going to tell you it's important to build some kind of opportunity for connection aside from just these social media platforms, because they can be fickle. Okay. They can be fickle fackle, and they may be here today, gone tomorrow. The police on these platforms may decide they don't want you operating or saying what you say. So I'm just telling you, make sure that you're connected, because that is important to me. And then the last and most important announcement I have is that I need you guys to make sure that you're connecting via these social media sites. I'm out here in these social media streets. Anywhere you can connect with me. If you put in Sue Roseberry or Mama Sue, yeah, I'm going to come up. So you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Not so much Twitter, because they kind of grossed me out. But anyway, I do have a presence over there, but not so much. And TikTok, because I am there trying to interact and share part of this joy that I have about living and experiencing life on the Lord's terms with everybody that I get a chance to connect with. And when it mentions TikTok, y'all, I am there every day Monday through Friday at 12 noon Central Standard Time. You can tap in for some midday moments with Mama Sue. We've been doing that since May of 2025, and it is such an exciting space. We go live, so it's nothing that's canned. It's going to be fresh, fresh. Can you say fresh? Every day it's going to be fresh. So I invite you to join us on that platform for some uplifting and positive faith based content every day at noon. It's Bible study, y'all. That's all I got to talk about over there. I'm not discussing politics, current events, nothing like that. Just from the word of the Lord and being fortified by those things that He tells us can help us level up and be our best. So that's what we're doing over there, y'all. It's a good day to be alive. And I am so glad you're here because I have an exciting and wonderful guest who is going to join me. I'm going to introduce her to you right after this.
It's beyond entertainment. It's an experience. Book Mama Sue Roseberry today.
That is worthy. Woo! He's a great God. And I can tell you how great He is. He has given us treasures in earthen vessels, gifts, talents in wonderful, creative individuals. Tonight, one of those individuals is with us. Alana Stern is an actress. She's a creative and arts administrator that's based in the Dallas Fort Worth area. She's a recent graduate of Texas Christian University, TCU, all of those TCU people with us. And she has a bachelor of fine arts in acting and a certificate in arts leadership. There are other things that we're going to talk about that covers this beautiful young lady, but for the moment, I want to bring her on so we can welcome her. Alana, welcome to Moments with Mama Sue.
Oh, Mama Sue, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on today.
Oh, that is awesome. And y'all, she has dimples. She'll look young forever.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
That's what it does. Kissed by an angel. Alana, where are you from?
Yes.
Tell us about who Alana is.
Absolutely. So I am from Dallas, Texas, more specifically Cedar Hill, Texas. So South Dallas. Like you said, I'm a graduate of Texas Christian University. Go Frogs for all my frogs in the chat. And yes, everything you said, I'm a creative. I'm an arts administrator. I work for an awesome arts organization, actress, poet, all the many things that we creators do, director. So I'm just so excited and grateful to be with a fellow creative today.
Yes, a fellow thespian. I'm so
Yeah.
excited because listen, gifts multiply.
Mhm.
They multiply. What do you think was your initial primary gift? What did you discover that you could do first? And then out of that, all these other things began to blossom.
Absolutely. So I would say the first gift I really discovered as a child was just being an orator, just being a speaker, specifically through spoken word and through poetry. I used to write poems when I was little, and then I just noticed that, you know, it would bless other people. Like I would write a Father's Day poem or something of that nature, and I just noticed it would touch people, and I was like, wait, maybe I think I'm kind of good at this. And I remember I used to do in like elementary and middle school, we had this thing called speech meet competitions, and I would win every time. And I was like, wow, this is, I think I could get used to this whole theatrical situation. And it just kind of grew and elevated from there, whether it was plays, just writing songs. And it went on through middle school and then high school and then college. And now here we are.
Wow. Now, can you tell me, did you save any of your early works?
I did actually. I I did. Now, am I in a place where I would share? I don't know, because they were
Yeah.
early, but
But I
maybe.
mean, even to just have them, because that's
Hmm.
what I have found out, even for myself, a lot of things
Hmm.
that I created when I was very young, I don't have them because we
Yeah.
didn't know the value of what we were
Yeah.
creating, what God was doing in us. And so we
Absolutely.
didn't retain them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, I would say I think my family, we're just a family that holds on to a lot of stuff. We keep a lot of old little heirlooms and things like that. So I've been grateful for that, because even though sometimes a borderline hoarder, I think it's come in handy in situations like this where it's like we're able to look back and see some of those gifts that God clearly placed in us at a really early age and say, wow, I can't believe I created that. Or we can say, ooh, I don't know what I was thinking when I made that, but I'm sure it was cute. But either way, yeah, I'm grateful for those little tokens, those little nuggets.
Do you recall what first, who discovered or encouraged you to begin to speak or to do oration?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll say for one, my parents were always just super supportive to me just throughout my life. Um, I would say just watching my sister. My sister, she's also a creative, but she grew up dancing, and so I learned early on that dancing was not necessarily the route that I was called to, but just watching her come to life on the stage, there was something about that um, was compelling. There's something about that was so pulling to me, and I realized for me it was just a different translation of that, and that was for me that was theater and that was speaking, and then I'll say my dad as well. He was just always he's a creative in his own facet. Like he doesn't necessarily do music or theater or anything like that, but he just had a creative mind, and so he always really pushed me and my sister to just continue our creative gifts. And then I just had a really great community of teachers. I think that's so important that early on we have community that is supportive of us, especially in teachers and people we see very often and look up to on a day-to-day basis. So I had a lot of teachers and mentors that really push the gifts that they saw in me. So I'm so grateful for that.
That's awesome. Now you were a child prodigy, so to speak. Somebody saw gifts and talents in you. Why is that so important for youth? Because we're going to segue from this question to what it is that you're actually engaged in doing on the regular.
Yes. Um, I'll say it's so important to have somebody to see something in you from early on, because that's when it is nurtured, that's when it's fed, that's when it grows. I think of it like a plant. It starts as a seed, or it starts as whatever in the ground. But if you don't feed it, or if you don't nurture it correctly, tend to that soil right, then it could grow up and there are weeds. It could grow up and it's not quite maturing in the way it's supposed to. So in the same way, when we're children and we have these gifts, we have these callings, we have these things that we're just good at, or that we gravitate to. When we have somebody like our teachers, like our leaders, like our parents who are able to tend to that soil and nurture those gifts, we're able to grow and mature. Those gifts are able to grow and mature in a way that is really fruitful and not just beneficial to us, but that's able to bear a lot of fruit for a lot of other people around us.
Now, you talked about the parents and the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the critical piece of that, because parents are going to be involved. They always think their baby's feathers are the blackest, so to speak. They, my baby, that's my baby, my baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But how important is it for the validation of others, those the village people who also help to reinforce what's going on in the life of those children?
Absolutely. It is crucial. It is so important because, like you said, we're always going to have our parents, and hopefully, we have good relationships with our parents. Um, but then we go out into the world external of our immediate homes, and you might have naysayers, or you might have, even fellow peers who might not be able to see that same thing in you, or even may put it down just out of ignorance or out of spite or whatever the case is. But when we have just older, wiser mentors and teachers that are able to see those things in us. And then also people who sometimes may have more experience in that particular gift or in that particular talent that are able to speak really intimately and from a personal perspective and say, not only do I see something in you, but I see something, that I saw myself, or something that I can speak to really personally because I've gone through this, or I've done this, or this, that, and the third. Whereas our parents, they can pour out a lot of love into us, but they might not necessarily have the same expertise, or they might. But I'll say for me, and I'll even say for my sister, like, our parents weren't dancers, our parents weren't actors or singers or anything like that, and they poured lots of love and support into us. But then we had those teachers, we had those dance coaches, we had those theater teachers, whatever the case was, who were really able to pour into us and also just help us to grow in those particular areas and gifts. So it's so crucial to children that they are able to have that support and that encouragement.
And sometimes the input of that villager who has the expertise is what is a defining moment. For me, when I was in school, I remember there was a teacher over the drama department when I was in high school who believed in me. And if it had not been for him and him thinking that I had some acting skills or abilities, I I know, I know I
Mm-hmm.
would not have even pursued college or
Mm-hmm.
going on to college, but it was because he believed in me. Who are the actors or mentors that you have admired in your life?
Yes, absolutely. I will say one of those is Kerry Washington. I have just always enjoyed and loved and admired her work. I'll say even more recently, Letitia Wright. She was in Black Panther. Actually, she played the sister, and she's, oddly enough, we're not too far in age, but I always like looking at actors who were close in range and in age to me, because it just triggered something different in my brain that was like, wait a minute, I can do that too. Like, I have that same, like, we're not too far off. I can be where they are, even now. Like, it's not a super far dream that I have to reach for. Like, it's something that can happen today. And just, if you just look at her whole walk in story, like, she's a believer, and she's just really a powerhouse right now in what some people might see as a lucrative industry. So she's doing all the things. So those are two people that I really admire.
Highly visible and doing a lot of great things. And the role, this is something that has always been out there for me. What do you tell young people about the one of the hazards of this industry being that uh, you are typecast for
Mm,
roles and participation. How do they shore up their confidence to try again for role after role after role when there's, rejection is out there, because it may not even necessarily be something about their particular gift, but just that they may not look like
mm-hmm,
the part.
mm-hmm.
What do you
Absolutely.
tell them?
Yes, that is such a good question. I definitely, I've experienced this myself, especially in college, and being in an environment with a whole lot of people who don't look like you and might not always necessarily be looking for something that looks like you. Um, there is a market though out there for everybody. But sometimes we're in environments where we might not necessarily be the market, and that can sometimes be disheartening. But that has no indication on how talented you are or how gifted you are, or anything like that. So don't give up. Keep going. Keep auditioning. Don't let it stop you from pursuing that thing that you love, because there's someone out there who's going to value that talent and that gift that you have. And also just cling to find community of other people who are doing the same thing, that you're doing, and who are doing it well, and just really being let encourage one another, because you'll notice that you're not alone in that. It's not just you. You're not facing it alone, or you're not the only one that isn't finding this or doing that or is getting rejected. But you're going to get a lot of no's before you get that yes. So just keep pushing, because you're going to get that yes.
Ah, that's good to know,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes children are discouraged by
Mm-hmm.
what they hear, and sometimes it's difficult to press on past that. But anybody that you have seen who has been able to be successful, they had to go through those momentary rejections before they hit on whatever it was that was successful for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We see it all the time. And the thing is, we with a lot of the actresses and actors and creators that we admire so much, that we're only seeing a part of their story. We're only seeing the surface of their story. There was likely a lot of rejection, a lot of no's, a lot of trials, a lot of difficulties, a lot of people maybe even defaming their character before we got to the point where we see them now, where it's a matter of we see them in a place where we're like, oh, I love them, I love their work, I love their acting. How'd they get to this place? Well, there's a lot behind the surface, so don't get discouraged.
And don't give up.
Don't
Well,
give up.
one of the things that Alana is doing is called Kids Acting with Purpose. So she's the perfect person to address this. Tell us how that got started, and what in the world is it?
Yes, absolutely. So, Kids Acting with Purpose. It is a program we have up under the organization I'm a part of called Maroon 9. And so, what Maroon 9 Community Enrichment Organization is all about, our mission is to inspire, empower, and develop you through the transformative power of the arts. So, that's acting, that's singing, that's dancing, that's media. That is all the things what we do. We empower these kids who, like we said, have these gifts and have these talents, and maybe aren't sure what to do with them, or maybe this is their first time singing or acting and they want to, go for it. They want to really take it to the next level. And so, what they do when they come to us, they get to be a part of these amazing programs like Kids Acting with Purpose, where we really train and sharpen those skills. And not only that, but we're also able to use it to talk about a lot of greater issues like conflict resolution, and we're able to teach literacy and do all these amazing things through the arts, because the arts is it can be a hobby, and it can be a passion, and it can be a career, but it's also a vehicle for so many other things that we really love to touch on with Kids Acting with Purpose. And so how it got started. So actually, I'll start with Maroon 9. It started with our executive director, Mrs. Siobhan Davis. Her mother actually started it in honor of her late brother, Michael Patterson, who he had sickle cell disease, which affects a lot of minority groups and a lot of African American groups. But he had a love for the arts and for performing, and so she began Maroon 9 in honor of her brother, and just really began to impact youth and kids. And so, fast forward to about 2021, around that time, around COVID time, Mrs. Siobhan Davis, she took on the organization. She began to lead it. She has a background in theater and also just in education and entrepreneurship. And so she took that on her shoulders and she just flew and soared with it, and just really used it as, again, a means for something even greater than just the arts. She used it to really reach an audience of kids that maybe didn't have access to certain artistic opportunities, certain educational opportunities. And so now that's what we're all about, just reaching those kids that might not have that accessibility, or reaching those kids that might have this talent and not know what to do with it, and want to really take it to the next step. So that's a little bit about Maroon 9 and Kids Acting with Purpose.
Well, how do you get referrals for your program?
Yes, absolutely. So typically, and are you referring to the kids themselves? Like, how do the kids
Yeah,
find?
the kids that participate, how do you make
Yeah.
selection or how do they get involved?
Yeah, so the kids can get involved. They can follow us on social media, but also we typically put our programs into school districts. So we're in Crowley ISD, we're in Fort Worth ISD. Now we do have a really cool program. It's called Kids Acting with Purpose Traveling Troupe, and that's a really awesome group of students. So talented, a group of middle and high school students, and what they do, they get to travel around to different community centers, schools, events. They perform for the Juneteenth Museum. Just a bunch of really cool things that I wish I was doing when I was their age. And they get to perform, they get to act, they get to sing, they get to dance, and also talk about these really important topics. And so that is a selective group of students. So that is based off of an audition process. And so those students have been in our programs before. And so we're kind of looking at those students who have really shown us that they really are passionate about the arts and about what they do, and that they have a knack for it, and also are just willing to grow and to learn and commit. And so that is something that the kids are really always really excited for.
Wow, that is exciting to me. Just hearing about it and thinking about what it could mean for children in your community, most especially for our culture.
Yeah.
Because to develop those gifts when there is a lack of development in the school system, because the fine arts are not, they're not they're not promoted the way that
Mm-hmm.
sports and academics are, but they are certainly a big part of our children's life. I want you to think for a minute, Alana, about a wish list. What would you wish for this program? What could enhance it and really bump it up and take it to the next level as far as expanding it and having it reach some of the goals that you have in place? I want you to think about that. And right after this, we're going to hear about it. We're going to hear all about it. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Miss Annie from way down south. She's loud, she's fun, but you'd better watch out. Put on your seatbelt and take the rollicking ride with the unpredictable Miss Annie as she whips and turns and drives straight into your heart. Own it today at www.sueroseberry.com. Listen, if you just tuned in, You're late, but you're not too late because I still have with us a wonderful, wonderful young lady, a creative actress and motivational leader in the arts. She's working with youth. She is doing so many things, and we are very fortunate to be able to get to meet her tonight. So we have with us Alana.
Hello. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Alana, before the break, we were talking about what things would really make that program just whoa jump from your mouth to God's ears. What would
Absolutely.
it be?
Yes. So, great question. I think, like any good and successful program, funds are always super important. So, I think for us, just continued expanded capacity to be able to pour into these kids and to be able to take them to different places, take them to New York and take them to California and take them to these places where they're really able to use their gifts to impact not just this community, not just the DFW community, but a much broader audience, and they're able to impact other kids. And so to be able to do that, obviously it's important that we're able to have the funds to be able to do that because forgot to mention this is also a group of students who they get paid. We give them an honorarium because we believe that um, these kids are going to eventually, step into a broader professional industry, and so we want to honor their talent just like we would any other working actors. So, because we believe in that, funds are definitely important and necessary to what we do.
I like that. Is there any option perhaps to have anybody maybe from SAG-AFTRA or any of the acting unions to come in and speak about what it takes for them maybe to connect with that and figure out how to do some work in those levels? Because let me tell you why I asked, because it would be so great to have really talented kids who can play kids, because sometimes we got old people playing kids. It ain't the same.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we that is something we have yet to do, but we would absolutely love if we could have some of those industry professionals to come in and have a talk with our kids and really let them know what it's like in the industry, essentially.
Wow. Because I think it might even be cool, and we can talk about that offline because I got all kind of ideas about
I love.
connecting beyond the space that we're in.
Mhm.
But if there are young people in your if just say in Midland area that don't have kids in action or kids acting with purpose or Maroon 9 in their sphere,
Mhm.
what are some things that you might suggest for them to get involved with so they can start developing some of their theatrical talents?
Yes, absolutely. So if you're able to get connected with your local, if there are local theaters in your area, get connected with some of them, or even before then, try some of your community centers, just different community hubs that have, even if they don't have a full-on arts program, they might have little pockets. They might have opportunities. They might have a bulletin board, and you're able to see some of those opportunities. Um, I'll be honest, what I did when I was a young wannabe actor, I would just go to YouTube and I'm looking at people's monologues and I'm creating things myself. So that's where you should start. Create things yourself. If you have a dream, a passion, a desire, or just an idea, create it yourself. You have these, we all have phones and iPads and all the things. It doesn't take a lot. And when you have a whole database of just information out there, whether it's YouTube or Google, chat, even just use what you have, use what is in your hands, and go out and create, collaborate with your friends, whether it's a poem, whether it's a song. Use what you have, and then you'll notice when by the time you are able to get in a place where maybe you do have access, you've already started developing those soft skills. So that's my advice to you all.
Oh, that was really good because most of the kids do have smartphones, and unlike me in my generation, they actually know how to use. They actually know how to use them. So let's talk about what's coming on the horizon because you all just finished up with a session where you culminated with a big event. So what's coming up?
Yes, we have some exciting things coming up. So, actually, in about, what is it, a week and a half, 2 weeks, we have an event sponsored by North Texas Community Foundation. And it's going to be it is at Blank Space Center. So it's going to be a big community event. We have a lot of organizations involved, but the traveling troupe in particular, they're going to be performing a work about gun violence awareness, actually. So really getting the community aware about some of the things going on in our community. So the traveling troupe will be performing in that. Maroon 9 as well. We have some really exciting things. We have our actors training program, our Kids Acting with Purpose actors training program, and that is open to all, whether you are a seasoned young actor or whether you have never acted in your life. We want you to come out and get involved and really develop those skills. So we have some exciting things coming up. And then in the summer, we have our summer program, lots of things. So I would definitely stay tuned.
What is the age range that you all are working with?
Yes, so we work all the way with kids from third grade all the way up to 12th grade. I would say most of our programs tend to fall in the middle and high school range. However, we do programs from third grade all the way up until 12th grade.
That is so awesome. That is amazing. That is amazing. Are you all creating the work that the children are doing as well, or are you using published works for them?
Yes, so we actually do create a lot of our own works. Actually, the performance the traveling troupe just did about a couple of weeks ago. I was actually the playwright for that show, which was really just an amazing experience and just great to see our works just being performed by the kids. The kids also create. They just came up with. A particular play on it's called we call it Know Your Worth, because we have an acronym for worth that specifically touches on some conflict de-escalation tips. So we had the students just write short scenes about that, and it came together to write a really cool play. So yes, we write a lot of original works, and so a lot of these up and coming productions are their Maroon 9 originals. So
Ah, that is so good. Well, it's a wonderful way for artistic expression for the children. If there are any that are in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, and you would be interested in maybe sponsoring or hosting an event that might feature something presented by the Kids Acting with Purpose. Tell us a little bit about how they would go about getting in touch with you, Alana.
absolutely. So you are welcome to see our pages. We have lots of information on there. Our Instagram, our Facebook is Maroon 9 Community Enrichment. You're also more than welcome to get in touch via email at info at maroon9.org. And you can go to our website, which is www.maroon9.org. So lots of ways you guys can get in touch with us.
For real, be sure to keep that Maroon 9 in mind. And then I want to encourage everybody to go to their Facebook page and like it and then follow it and be able to see the things that they're doing. It may be inspiration to you for where you are and the youth that you're working with, or even just to be able to tell others that traffic in that space about some creative things that are going on in Dallas Fort Worth.
Yes. Yes.
That's pretty exciting. So, Alana, before we close out today, I want you to be able to speak to um, creatives about uh, stepping out and doing those things that are in your heart that may be a little bit outside the box.
Mm.
But let's talk about that and how you would encourage them to move forward.
Absolutely. Um, I would say just do it. It's much easier said than done, but just do it. Again, if you have a dream, if you have a desire, if you have a hope, just try it. The worst that could happen, there's not a whole lot of bad that could happen. But yeah, just try it. The worst that can happen is that you I like to say you fall. You don't fail, you fall. But as long as you fall forward, as long as you assess what went wrong and keep going, that's where the best stuff happens. So if you have something that's really been in your heart, there's probably a reason that it's in your heart, and it might not just be for you. So just think about some of those things that are in your heart. But when you think about them, I also want you to think about the people that could be on the other side of whatever it is that's in your heart, because you never know who would see it, who it might impact. I think sometimes when we're afraid to step out on something, it's because we're afraid we're going to fail. It's because we're afraid we're doubting our own capabilities, that maybe i'm not I'm not good enough, or I'm not talented enough, or I don't have enough experience, or I don't have enough this or that or the third. But sometimes when we just take that small step, just that small step, whether it's um, shooting that audition, or whether it's writing that poem, or whether it's posting that video, it can start as small as posting that video that you're scared to on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever the case may be. But you never know how it is meant to bless somebody, or what it might do for you. It might free up some things for you. So just do it. Don't be afraid. And go for it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Ah, I love that. I love it. I love hearing it from somebody young to
Mhm.
tell you to just go for it and do it and try it. And
Right.
if you don't try, my grandmother used to say, nothing beats a trial but a failure. I know
Mm.
that there are persons watching today that are part of Mama Sue's family, young adults in your youth that are in college and some younger. Be sure that you follow this particular program. Go to Maroon 9, check it out, see the things that they're doing, and let's watch and follow the exciting things that are happening for young people in that particular organization. And listen, if God is blessing others, he will bless you too. So there are ways, and it may be that you will have to say to somebody that is in your village, look what they're doing in Arlington, look what they're doing in Dallas. Do we have anything like that? Can we do that? And then last but not least, I want you, if you're with Mama Sue's family, to consider making a contribution to Maroon 9 so they can keep doing the positive things that they're doing with young people, because it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It costs to be able to encourage them and make an impression. But whatever you make happen for somebody else, let me tell you, God will make happen for you. Alana, thank you for being with me on Moments with Mama Sue.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it so much.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Hang out with me backstage as I close out. I just want to tell everybody that I am so appreciative. Thank you again so much for supporting my aspirations and dreams on last month when we did the Old Gray Mare. I tell you, it was so exciting to see a sold out house for the matinee performance, and you all came out in big numbers and blessed us so greatly that I was able to now make contributions to three of the nonprofits in our community that I wanted to benefit, that being Basin PBS, the West Texas chapter of the Gospel Music Workshop of America, and also the Midland Storytelling Festival. So thank you for helping make my dream a reality. That was really outside the box as far as what somebody will do for a birthday celebration. But I am delighted that I had the chance to do that. And it was because y'all were ride or die. You were ride or die. You were right there with me every step of the way, and you made that possible. Oh, look, they're saying, thanks, Alana. Thank you for the great information that you shared with us on Moments with Mama Sue. Janice is saying, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Please like and share this, even after we close out the broadcast, with others in your sphere of influence. That's the way we grow, and that's how we do this. If you're liking what you are seeing on Moments with Mama Sue, please give me a follow, and let's make this a bigger platform than it is already. And I will tell you, next month, want you to stay tuned, because next month, dun, 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 we'll be celebrating 6 years. Ooh, 6 years of Moments with Mama Sue. It hasn't always been easy. Technology has not always been my friend, but somehow we made it through. And we're just going to be looking back and celebrating some of those special moments. You're going to see clips and things from some of our past guests over these 6 years, doing it live on first and third Monday of every month. And unlike some, we haven't even had a season where you just doing 4 months and then you have some months off. We just do it all the time. It's been 6 years consecutively next month, so we'll be celebrating with some special guests and some flashbacks to other times. So thank y'all for being here and being a part of Moments with Mama Sue. I look forward to seeing you on the next. Thank you for being a part of it. And you already know I love you big. Bye.